In the short time since starting this channel and talking about the things that I do, there's not much that surprises me. But one thing that has surprised me these last few days is the public reaction to the Laken Snelling case. If you haven't heard about this case yet, I'm talking about the University of Kentucky senior stunt athlete and beauty queen that birthed a baby and put him into a trash bag in her closet. Now, we still don't know whether she birthed a baby that was alive or not, but I feel as if I've never seen a court of public opinion as split as I have about this case. We have those of us that are saying this was wrong, regardless of if the baby was born alive or not. Wrapping him in a blanket, disposing of him, the afterbirth, and cleaning supplies into a trash bag and hiding it for days in your closet is just wrong. And then you have others like the woman I'm about to show you, who's a feminism activist, author, and abortion lover, who says that anyone who thinks that is just spewing right-wing propaganda. And just to be clear, I'm not using those terms as an insult to her. That's just literally her thing. She's an author and content creator who just talks about and promotes abortion and women's right to choose. But before we hear what she has to say, I ask that if you care about keeping kids safe online and in real life, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to support that mission. And with that, she has the floor.
I really wish that I believed in hell, because at least then there might be some accountability for the absolutely disgusting people that I am seeing make comments about and to Laken Snelling, the young woman in Kentucky who was arrested for abuse of a corpse. I made a video about this yesterday. This young woman, police claim, gave birth and that they found an infant in her closet that was deceased. As I said yesterday, what happens quite a lot of the time when police use words like that and when they charge someone with abuse of a corpse, it's actually a miscarriage, and they're just using that to incite the press. We don't know. We have no idea what happened in this case. We only know what police are telling us. But the kinds of comments, the kinds of vitriol, and absolutely gross, horrific shit that people are saying about and to this young woman is really making me lose my faith in humanity. I was up at like 2 a.m. last night because I just couldn't process how awful people were being. Do you really think that nothing bad is ever going to happen to you? Do you really think that you are going to react perfectly and do all the right things if something traumatic and awful happens to you? That you're going to, no, I would do this and I would do that and I would do this. No, you fucking wouldn't. You have no idea. You have no idea what you would do in a traumatic situation. You have no idea. And this holier than thou bullshit is so exhausting. Do you need to feel that much better about yourself? Do you really doubt your own goodness and worth that much that you need to attack a person who's been through a traumatic medical event and is now being criminalized for it? I'm honestly just disgusted. Just totally disgusted. I really hope that nothing bad ever happens to these people. I hope nothing bad ever happens to the people that they love. And I hope nothing bad ever happens to them, and then they have to watch as thousands and thousands of people tell them what a piece of garbage they are because they didn't react in the exact perfect way. Honestly, like, shame on you.
You know, I truly believe most situations have a morally gray area, and absolutely right and absolutely wrong, and somewhere in between there is what you decided to do based on the hand you were given. And it might fall into that morally gray area. This is not one of them. I see people fighting tooth and nail in comment sections trying to say, well, you don't know what really happened. She might have had a miscarriage. If we put her in jail for this, then we're just giving conservatives permission to tell any woman who has a miscarriage what she's allowed to do. And what about the women who are 6 weeks pregnant and miscarry and don't realize it? Look, I've had close friends and family who have experienced miscarriages, and I understand how traumatic that can be. No one is saying or fighting for women to have to notify the police when they miscarry or to carry it in to prove it to the doctor. There's no narrative being pushed here. And in fact, we could argue that there's actually a narrative being pushed from the other end because of women like this who are taking a situation that honestly requires the most minimal investigation and reporting skills to see that was not the case. And they're using that to say, see, conservatives are controlling the media and coming after women's rights again. I can confidently say with what I found, at least to me, it proves that Laken Snelling did not miscarry. First, let's clarify that a miscarriage is the loss of a pregnancy before 20 weeks gestation, while a stillbirth is the loss of a fetus at 20 weeks or further. I think some people are getting those terms intertwined, and for a lot of people, that is a very important distinction. I went to the University of Kentucky website and watched every video of the stunt team I could find within the last 8 months to try and see two things. 1, did Laken know she was pregnant? And 2, how far along was she? And while there's no way to know the exact term of gestation, we can make a pretty good guess. And I just want to be clear that this didn't feel good. I don't enjoy going through frame by frame to scrutinize some girl's body. But when you have people like this, and there are so many more, who are saying that anyone reporting on this or anyone who thinks that what Laken Snelling did was wrong is against women and spewing propaganda and are just doing it to feel better about themselves. No, I stand on what I say, but I'm going to come with receipts, because you're not going to try and manipulate us into feeling like we're in the wrong for saying giving birth and then wrapping it all up and hiding it in your closet is okay, because it's not. And just because we don't know the details, well, we know enough. And I saw a video of a girl today who said, look, if it's wrong for me to feel this way, then I don't want to be right. And I'm right there with her. So in videos from January to May of 2025, Kentucky University showed the school's stunt team competing and practicing up until they went to nationals in the spring. Now, I was never in cheer, so forgive me if I get some of these terms wrong, but it looks like Laken was a flyer, where she would be thrown up into the air, do flips, and then come back down and be caught. She is a small girl, and it's typically small girls that do that position. But something changed in the middle of the season. From what I could tell, and keep in mind this is just from what I could see in the videos, it looked like somewhere in the middle of the season, Laken changed positions. Earlier in the season, Laken was a flyer, but it looks like later on in the season, Laken took more of the role of a base. From what I could tell, she went from being the one being thrown to the one catching and supporting the flyer. So from what I could find, this was Laken in January. This one was either January or February. This was in March. And then these last few photos are in April. That was early April. And this, I believe, was in later April. And this one as well. Now let's just take a second to look at that. And I have to say, let's be reasonable. This girl knew she was pregnant. I believe her coach knew she was pregnant, and I believe her teammates knew she was pregnant. So with these photos, I'm going to guess that during this time frame in April, Laken was anywhere between 18 and 24 weeks pregnant. That is complete speculation on my part, based solely on my knowledge as a mother of 3. She looks like she's going into that 3rd trimester around that time in late April. And with that being said, I do think she gave birth to a full-term baby. And that's not even taking into account how strong Laken was. Women with a strong core who know how to brace their stomach tend to start showing later, and can even engage their core to kind of pull the baby in even more. Look, I know we want to believe that no one could do something as horrendous as what Laken is being accused of, including myself. I don't hope that the worst of what she's being accused of is true. I don't want that to be true. But let's call a spade a spade. She knew she was pregnant. I believe the people around her knew she was pregnant. And, I've even seen people try to stick up for her and say, well, maybe she didn't have access to gynecological care. She was in the UK athletic program where they have a doctor provided to them, and they have gynecological services provided to them on campus, okay? This girl had medical access. This girl knew she was pregnant, and I believe that her coach and teammates knew, and I think that they wanted to keep her around for the rest of the season, but they wanted to change her position to, keep her safe. And whether they did a good job doing that, I won't be the judge of that. I don't think doing any kind of that sport is safe during pregnancy, but I'm not an expert, so I won't go there. But I think we just need to stop giving so much of the benefit of the doubt, so much so to where we're, telling people, well, you shouldn't have said this was wrong because you don't really know what happened. Like I said before, we know enough. We know enough, okay? And this is going to continue. The more details are going to continue to come out about this, and I will be covering it. But until then, until more real factual details do come out, I will not continue to cover this. I've said as much as I can say about it, as much as I'm comfortable saying about it. And once we have more concrete details about this case, I will be covering it. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. I am open to conversation. And I ask that if you care about keeping kids safe online and in real life, please subscribe and remember to hit that notification bell to support that mission. If you're worried about the world we're leaving to our children, I'm right there with you.